Hey guys, this is KJ48. Welcome to Tips, Tricks, and Tutorials. This is episode 3, and we're going to be playing Civilization 5. This will be a tutorial about city placement. Okay, now the first thing we're going to discuss here is what happens when you actually settle a city. Now, a city can only work a certain amount of tiles outside of the area that you settle on. So, as I settle right here, if I bring up the grid, you can see that I can work any tiles inside this city's borders. Now, this can expand out up to 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. That means any 3 spots surrounding the city, I can work for this city. The city can expand beyond those 3 spots, but you can only work 3 spots surrounding the city. Not sure how it goes on a diagonal, but I know 1, 2, 3, you can work out to here. So probably here, 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 and it keeps going around. Okay, the first thing I look for anytime I'm building a new city is access to fresh water. It's either that or luxury resource, but for the sake of argument, we'll just go with the access to fresh water. And the reason for that is very simple. If you look in the technology tree, civil service, food from farms increased by 1 on all tiles with an access to fresh water. That goes for rivers and lakes. And on a little side note, if you look down here, fertilizer, it's much farther into your technology tree. Food from the farm increased by 1 on all tiles with no access to fresh water. So by the time you get to fertilizer, the rivers and lakes aren't as important, but you'll get civil service way before you'll get fertilizer. One other nice thing about building next to a river is a really nice building you get. I'm going to look it up here. Here it is. Watermill. City must be built next to a river, but it gives +2 food and +1 production. It's a very early building you can get in the game, and it's a really, really nice building. Another nice reason to build next to rivers. The second thing I look for when settling a new city, and it actually might be tied with the freshwater thing, is luxury resources. You need the happiness. Every time you settle a city, you get -2 happiness for the city and -1 happiness per population point. That's a little different for Gandhi, but for the most part, that's what you're going to be dealing with. The third item I look for when settling a new city is bonus resources. Those are kind of like the luxury resources, except they don't give the +4 happiness. Such things as cattle, deer, sheep, and fish. Those are really nice. They give a little bit more yield than a regular tile, plus you can build nice improvements on them. They're very valuable. The fourth item you're looking for is what are considered high value tiles. These are regular tiles that don't have any special resource tiles on them, but are still considered high value. I consider high value tile anything with 3 resources on it. Whatever 3 resources it is, it doesn't matter. 2 food and 1 gold, 1 food, 1 production, 1 gold, it doesn't matter. If it has 3 tiles on it, it's considered a high value tile. The last thing I look for when settling a city, and honestly I don't think about this as much as I should, but you want to think about defensive positioning. By a river is pretty good because anyone who attacks across a river gets a penalty. On a hill is really good because anyone who attacks anything on a hill gets a penalty. Also, by mountains is good because the enemy would have to come in single file to take the city, and it's a lot easier to defend that type of city. One last thing you want to look for when settling a city, and I don't generally think about this because these are pretty rare, and it's rare that I will get one in an area where I can settle a city on it, but if you can get a city with a natural wonder, some of them can be really, really powerful. This starting area I started with in this game is incredibly powerful. I can't believe how good this starting area is. I don't generally get starting areas this good. I've decided to settle right here. Now, the reason I want to settle right here, you have access to some food, production, and you have marble. You also get some sheep. You can reach the fish. And if you want to, what I will do is I will build a farm right here for the freshwater food bonus. I might even cut down this forest. Generally, on a little side note, I don't cut down forests because I don't want to lose that production, but this is close to a river. I might need the extra food here, so I might cut down that forest and make another farm there. Also, I will have access to this jungle here with that food. This is a really, really good spot. Okay, I'm going to show you where I build my third city here. Now, this city doesn't have any access to any luxury resources, but it does have bonus resources. See? And it also has high value tiles. You got one, it can reach here, two, this is three, four. I mean, this is a great spot for a city. Even without access to a luxury resource, it's a great spot. It also doesn't have much access to the fresh water. I think you could build a farm. No, it can't even build a farm here because that's sheep. So it really doesn't even have access to a river. But the fact that matters, this is such an incredible spot. You just got to take it. Okay. Now I have my three cities set up, and I'm just going to go along and show you the spots I'm thinking about making my other cities in. Rule of thumb for me generally is follow the rivers. This would probably be a nice spot right here. I probably wouldn't settle in the forest. I'd probably settle maybe right here. Maybe I would settle in the forest. I generally try not to settle in the forest because I like to build lumber mills, which increase the production of forest tiles. And I like that production. If you settle in here, you can't build the lumber mill there. And then I would only have this production tile. Although I would have these two up here. So yeah, I would settle somewhere in this area. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to tell you guys. You're going to have the recommended building sites, places where you should build cities. And you know what? If you don't want to think about it, you can build on these areas. They're usually pretty good. As a matter of fact, a couple times the computer was telling me to build on an area and I didn't, and I probably should have. The computer's pretty good with that. You could go by that if you want to. Got some desert down here. Obviously, I will avoid this at all costs. I will probably build a city here and then a city possibly here. You do want coastal cities for a navy, and also coastal cities are really good. Obviously, you can see for gold, and gold is very important in this game, especially the way I play. I need gold. I spend a lot of gold. So coastal cities are good for gold and your navy. Probably gonna need a navy at some point. And I will probably just follow this river. I still got to scout over here, but I'll probably just follow this river and build in this general direction. This is pretty good land. It's a little light on the production, but if I could just, have these forests in the same area as a bunch of my cities, I'll be okay. Okay, guys, so to recap, let's go through the checklist. Cities are only workable up to 3 tiles out. Look for access to fresh water, rivers or lakes. Make sure to get luxury resources for the happiness. Try and settle next to bonus resources, such as cows, sheep, fish, etc. Go for high value tiles. Try not to settle for any tile with less than 3 resources on it. Keep an eye out for defensive locations. Building a city on a hill or next to a mountain are good choices. When at all possible, try to build a city next to a natural wonder. Some of them can be extremely powerful. Build coastal cities so you can arm yourself with a nice navy. They're also good for gold. Okay guys, I hope you found that somewhat informative and useful. That's going to be it for episode 3. See you next time for episode 4. Till then, take it easy. Okay guys, I hope you found that somewhat informative and useful.